Hello, welcome to LLG's Random But Real. My name is Lisa L. Gilliam, and I am the host of this podcast, where we have conversations about any and all things random with an entree, not a side dish, of mental health advocacy. I use my performance, communication, and literary art skills to bring awareness about mental health and other topics. Therefore, whether I am singing, speaking, or writing, it is my desire that my words will be melodic, just like music, to your ears. Please note, the comments expressed in this podcast are those of mine and or the guests. They are not intended to be used for professional guidance. Please seek a licensed professional if you are in need of care or therapy, experiencing trauma, or are in danger. And if in danger, please call 911. Thank you in advance for listening to LLG's Random But Real. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of LLG's Random But Real. As you know, I am always excited to have different guests on the show, and we try to make sure we incorporate anything mental health-wise with what the topics that we discuss, because mental health affects every aspect of our lives. And so today, I actually have my bro, Dr. M.D. Harmon. Say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
How long have we known each other? So if it's okay, I would like to call you by your nickname. This is an informal platform, but if not, I can call you Dr. Harmon. It's okay. You let me know.
Reese is fine.
Okay. So I have known my bro Reese I've been doing karaoke maybe 10, 12 years or something like that. And he is one of the phenomenal talents that I have met over the years, and just has always been kind to me, encouraging. He can sing, y'all, like for real sing. But he's a creative. He does so much. And so I'll let you tell the people what you do.
There's a lot that we do, but first and foremost, I just want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be on this platform to share, anything that I do. And as you stated previously, we've known each other about 10 or 11 years, somewhere around that neighborhood. And you've been nothing but an encouragement to me, an inspiration to me. I've seen how you battled through tough times and still yet you held your head high. You kept a positive demeanor, and don't let her fool you guys. It's in her name. She's a singing something too. She can sing the house down. So she's been an encouragement and an inspiration to me in that way as well. So thank you again, Lisa.
No, my pleasure.
Definitely. One of the things I love to do, obviously, is music. And currently, right now, I have a studio, and I produce music. I write music. I collab with other artists. The name of the business is ShadeStar Enterprise LLC. So if you guys ever need any music production or you need studio engineering or recording, I'm your guy. I do that. When I'm not in the studio, I'm an author. I completed a book previously, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I revised it. It's called Deliverance Matters, a strategic and tactical guide to overcoming strongholds in your life. So I do author. I do like to author not only self-help books, but also I like to get a little creative, do a little bit of horror, do a little bit of sci-fi. I took a chance, and I just recently finished the writing. I'm in the editing phase now. I took a chance and I did a sequel to one of Stephen King's books. It was titled Christine. So I'm doing a sequel there. I took a huge chance, reaching out to some literary agents, trying to get approval from Stephen King to move forward. But we're just in the editing phase of that now. So that's just a little bit of what I do,
See, I'm learning something new. That's cool. That's cool. So like with all of that, like I said, this is also like a mental health platform. Mm-hmm. How do you stay in a positive headspace? Because there's so much. I was telling somebody today, I had to record earlier today, and on a college friend's platform, shout out to Coach Kimberly,
who is living her best life in Dubai right now. But thank goodness for technology, right? But we were talking about just, music. And I said I learned from being a former vocal music teacher that music, like the singing part or performance is, only 10%, but it's 90% mental.
Yes.
What do you think about that? And how do you stay in a creative headspace when life is lifing, as we like to call it?
I diddle that. I think music is very therapeutic, and if you like me, I'm an executive manager, by day, and the stresses of having to meet deadlines and interacting with people in different energies can take a toll on you. And as you said, mental health is extremely important. It's something that is very, very serious. So what I like to do to keep my headspace is I lean on my wife, Jillian, a lot. Jillian Campbell Harmon, she's a sweetheart. She's a major support to me. I lean on her a lot to, to talk things out, and we meditate together as well. I think it's important to take the time out, get in tune with nature, and just get in tune with yourself in conjunction with nature. And we spend that time meditating, and then on into the music and writing piece where you can get a release from that and express yourself that way as well.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. Well, definitely shout out to your wife. And thank you for keeping my bro in a healthy headspace because we need you here. We do. And by we, I mean all the people that do know you and love you.
Thank you, guys.
So that's awesome. And then as far as like the studio, like what made you want to do both? Like not just be an actual singer or performer, but also be like behind the scenes creating, music and producing people, etc.
I kind of think it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It's something that was kind of bestowed upon me. And I'll give you a funny story. My mother was a school teacher for 40 some odd years before she retired. And on the side, to make ends meet, she used to deliver newspapers. And back when I was growing up, we didn't have the technology and the maps, on the phone and the GPS. So my mother would get these recorded cassette tapes from the Daily Times newspaper plant, and then she would put it into her recorder in the radio and in the car, and then she would know where to go. They would tell her there's a Bluetooth on Upper Ferry Road, make a right. That would tell her where to go. And what I did was I took the tape, not understanding what that tape was, and I started singing on the tape. I was about 5 or 6, started singing and recorded over a lot of the tape.
Wow.
So that was my first experience for recording. And although I got in trouble, I liked the idea of being able to record the way I sounded. And so you move on to when I'm 15, I had a little stereo player in my room. So I tried to record an album on my room. Obviously the bed was squeaking and people were in the background. And I was just very interested in ways of trying to maneuver and get the nuances of noise out to get the best product possible. And then on to my first professional experience in terms of recording in the studio was at Salisbury State University. And when I saw the mixing boards and the engineers, and what they were doing after the recording, a lot of the other artists left. I stayed behind to learn basic concepts like panning and what a high and a low should be, and certain plugins and what this effect does. I was very curious in that. And so as I began to record music, I started going behind the curtain, and that's kind of how I happened into it until I kind of developed the skill for it.
Okay. Wow. Well, and do you mind saying, like, you don't have to say the exact age, but like the range you were when you started, doing it like professionally?
Probably about when I really, really took it serious and bought all the software, probably during the pandemic. Because like I said, I had been doing it off and on, just for me, just tweaking things. But when I really said, you know what, I'm going to really dig into this and master it, it was during the pandemic. I went ahead and purchased some software called Studio 15, and I really took the heart, looking at YouTube videos to enhance my skills up. And then also what the engineers had shared with me over the years. I've been fortunate because my father-in-law, Chester Campbell, who has a studio and does live sound down in West Palm Beach, Florida, he actually went to school for studio engineering and sound. And so a lot of times I would reach out to him, hey, what do you think about this? What do you feel about this? Here, I'm going to send you this. Tell me what you think. And I had a lot of people and a lot of information that was at my disposal that kind of honed my skill to build me to where I am now. So it started about 2020.
Wow. I think that's awesome though, to make the transition, to keep going. I mean, I was telling, it was lady artists on the platform earlier today, and I was like, I commend you all for like not taking a break. This 50-year-old is tired. I needed a break from music and creating. I mean, I think you always create. Like, I'm always going to be writing. I'm always going to be singing, but I can honestly say I don't do it as much as I used to.
Right.
But I feel the difference even in my own mental health when I'm not, because it gives me balance. And so, but I commend anybody that's going as hard as you are going now. That's amazing. And then, when it comes to, writing the book, like, what was your, or what was your desire? Why did you decide to write a book about, breaking or delivering some strongholds?
Personal journeys, much like how your book is about, just personal journeys. And I feel obligated that when God has bestowed upon you a way to come out of your situation, I feel obligated that you should pour into others that may have gone through that or is going through what similar situations you've gone through. I feel you're obligated to give that back. Any information that's given to you, any education, spiritually, mentally, intellectually, physically, anything you can give to your fellow brother or sister to enhance or make them better, it is your obligation to do. So it's more or less with that when I deal with the self-help books. In the way of creative writing, I feel like the way you give back there is because there's so much going on in our lives, because there's so much stress, and because there's so much pressure on us to perform. I feel like the creative vein allows people a way to focus on something else for a while. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand.
Absolutely understand. So it gives them a way to escape whatever pressures they may be feeling, if just for a moment, and give them an opportunity to jump into another world and be able to smile and relate to other characters, be sad with them, be happy with them, be able to say, oh, I feel a part of their life. I feel a part of their journey. Sometimes that escape from reality is in of itself therapeutic.
Right. Absolutely. That's true. That's true. I think, God created creatives for a reason. And oftentimes, if you think about a lot of the people who have struggled, it's amazing to me how he's gifted us to be able to help other people through their struggles. Yet we often have so many struggles ourselves. You know what I mean? I think about, unfortunately, the people that have died by suicide who were amazing talents or who have struggled with depression, which I can relate to because I have in my life. Thankful that I didn't take my life, but I can't say I didn't think about it at a time. And so the fact that I'm still here, still going, still able to encourage other people, that in and of itself is a blessing.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And I would add to that, for so many years, we've neglected to take care of our mental health. And if we ever had to take a mental break, if you grew up like we did, it was thought to be maybe you're weak or something's wrong. No, it's nothing wrong. You got to take time to deal with the mental aspect or you will break down. So I commend you for doing the things necessary as I've had to do the things necessary to maintain my mental health, because without it, none of us can function. None of us can progress. We can't be who we are without it.
No, I agree. It's super important. It's important. And part of the reason that I became a mental health advocate, like after, being a counselor, was just to try to encourage people to break the stigmas that are associated with mental health. And, music being a universal language, that is definitely one of the ways. It's nothing like, I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's nothing like being on somebody's stage or platform and you're singing and you see how it's not the reaction of the applause. I'm not talking about that. Like that comes along with if you're a good singer, but just the reaction of if they're in tears or if they can really connect to something that you were singing, especially those of us that write our original music, you know what I mean? Or play original music. It's like, wow, like this is really blessing somebody, So I don't know. Do you feel like that sometimes?
Absolutely. Like I said, the applause, listen, I don't move. The applause doesn't move me. What moves me is when, like you said, I'm able to be on the stage and I can lock eyes with somebody and I can tell that we're in tune, that something that's being said or sung is gripping them and helping them through, or they're relating, or just seeing the response of the audience, not from a applause standpoint, but from a standpoint of I'm connected with them. They're feeling what I'm saying and I'm feeling their energy. I love that connection because I feel like one with people, all kinds of people, black, white, tall, skinny, fat, Christian, Muslim, whatever they are. I feel that connection. I feel at one with humanity with them there. So I do agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a blessing to be in that space. I think so. So
Absolutely.
I think it's good that you feel similarly. I feel like there's also being in that space, being one of the ones that is a creative, we also kind of have a responsibility to watch what we're saying, watch how we're, if it's gospel, ministering to others. If it's not gospel, the lyrics that we put in the words, the passion that we put there, whatever, people are watching us.
Absolutely.
Whether we want it or not, it kind of comes along with the territory.
Yeah, I'm always mindful of that. In fact, I always reference the saying that Peter Parker's grandfather gave him. He said, with great power comes great responsibility. And words are extremely powerful because they're merely marks of what your thoughts are, whether you write them or speak them. They're a representation of your thoughts, whether you're writing them down or whether you're saying them. So we have to be careful how we look and act in society and how we guide those words and how we aim those words into the atmosphere, because they do bring results, be they negative or positive.
True. Very, very true. You're so smart. You're so smart, Reese. I love it. It's great for me just to have, like, in the world where there's so much happening and people don't, I'm talking about like the opposite sex. You should be able to have a conversation and first of all, give credit where credit is due. And so I don't mean that negatively. I mean, I'm like, right. It's also a blessing to, have a conversation with you and hear where you're coming from and, know that there's nothing else there. You know what I mean? Like, it's a conversation with my bro and, you don't have to, because people often, it's like you can't be close to people without there being a expected situation. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that also affects mental health too. Like, why can't we just be friends? Why can't I actually understand whatever it is that a person is saying and gel with them there and be supportive in that way? There's so many different ways of being supportive. And I had to, this is now about the book. Like, you all brought my book and it blessed me. I have not been able to purchase his. What I've learned is that, like, and I've talked about it, anybody that's followed me, whether it was on YouTube Live, we were doing StreamYard or this, like, I have struggled. I'm still struggling financially. And so I might not be able to purchase, but to me, doing a podcast or liking a statement and sharing it, not just liking it, it takes a second to share whatever it is that's out there. If you see it, I mean, Facebook changed the algorithm, so sometimes things don't pop up on your feed like it used to. Right. But there's so many other ways that you can support people. Even if you can't go to their show, you could tell somebody else about it. If you can't go to the studio, you could tell somebody else about it. You know what I mean? Like, I just wish that we would be a people of support in this field, because the competition, like, I don't sing like you. You don't sing like me. I went to karaoke the other day and messed up 2 days in a row, Reese. and I'm like, I'm okay with it, because one, it was karaoke and that's supposed to be fun. And that's just a platform for me to practice. But also because I'm human. It reminds me that I still need God. I'm not going to be perfect. Right. And then I just have to face my fears and get up and do it again. You know what I mean? So what do you do when you face a fear or an obstacle that's taking you longer than you thought to kind of get up? Well, let me ask, have you had any of those types of things in your life? Okay.
Absolutely. I used to, honestly, a lot of people don't realize this, but I used to live a life of fear.
Wow.
And it was just predicated on a lot of the way I was brought up. It was never good enough. And what helped me get over that was right before the pandemic hit, I went to the Nickelodeon Studios in New Jersey. It was indoor. And it was this bungee jumping thing. I'm like, I'm looking from the floor. And sometimes I have the tendency to be a little overconfident, because that's my way of trying to cover up the areas where I'm afraid in. So I'm like, I should be able to handle this. It don't look that bad. So I climb up the ladder and I get up there. And the closer I'm getting for the time to jump, I'm like, I'm really scared of heights. Nobody around me knows this at the time. I'm out here telling my children, just get up there and jump. And guess what? They were in front of me. They jumped. Now it's my turn. Wow. Man, they had to push me down. I kept backing up. I looked stupid up there to me. I was afraid. But here's what got me through it. I said, you know what? I told him, I said, look, shut the gate. Once the gate is shut, I can't go back. The only thing you can do now is jump forward. So when he shut the gate, with eyes closed and gritted teeth, I jumped down. My kids were laughing at me. Everybody was laughing at me. This big overgrown guy, 220-pound muscle man looking dude is scared. They're laughing. My son called me a chicken. But that moment taught me something. It taught me, what were you really afraid of? Right? And then when I honestly answered that question of what I was afraid of, I began to unpack it. Did you crash land? Did anybody before you crash land? No, you didn't. Were you okay? Yes. Could you do it again? The answer is yes. And so I began to live a life conducive to that. So whenever I face a situation where I might be fearful, I ask myself, why are you afraid? Well, because somebody might think you look stupid. Okay, after that, then what? Is their thoughts going to dictate the outcome one way or the other? No. So go forward. You know what I'm saying? So I started to learn to unpack it and then just face it. If I make sense.
That's awesome. No, I think that's good. I think that's something that's a transferable skill too, because fear, even the Bible talks about, he's like, I didn't give you the spirit of fear, but love, power, and sound mind. And what God showed me that when I was studying scripture, one day it was that he said, I didn't give it to you. I don't want you to have it, but he knew that we would in life at some point. And so he's like, but I want you to have this instead. This is what I want you to focus on. You know what I mean? Don't be anxious in anything. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that we won't ever have those moments. But one thing you said, which is like a counselor's dream, I was a former counselor, is unpack. You took the time to face your fears and unpack whatever it was. And then you were able to get to a place that you needed to get to in order to be successful for that specific time. And I think that that's amazing. So kudos to you.
Brown has said, I don't know if you're familiar with Les Brown, but he's a very, very popular motivational speaker. And it's something that I learned from him because I didn't realize. He said, the only fears that we're born with as people is this fear of falling and the fear of loud sounds. All other fears are learned. And so if they can be learned, they can be unlearned. And so I begin to take that to heart in conjunction with that. Good
point. Good point. Yes, he is a powerful speaker for sure. That's a good point. Yeah. Well, we definitely learn that is true. And we have to move past whatever it is, that we may feel. So what do you feel, or what have you heard or seen? Because I also feel like a person who's in the studio, even produce it, or this is how I feel. I feel like there should be some encouragement from those individuals that are in there with you. Like, don't let me just come to your studio and jack up stuff and you don't say anything. Like, if I'm off, let me know I'm off. In love, of course. If I missed the note, then tell me that. If I'm not singing to my best ability and that I have more, I expect for you to encourage me while I'm in that session. How do you feel about that, first of all?
I feel like this. If you're sitting down at the table with me, and I ask people this, if you're sitting down at the table with me and you got something in your teeth, would you want me to let you know? Most people have always told me yes. Right. So if you're in the studio with me, I'm going to tell you got something in your teeth. Now, what I got to work on, because my work ethic, the way I am, everybody doesn't grab it as quick. I got to be a little better there. But I will tell you, like, listen, you missed the note. Let's go back. And I would expect you to go over and over and over it again. And some people don't want that, but that's what I am. So yeah, I will encourage you in that area. At the same time, I've learned to be a little more balanced in this area, whereas some people may not want to work it that much. And so I let them know, listen, this is your studio session. But if you ask me, I'm going to let you know, hey, we missed that note. Let's go back and look at it this way. So yeah, I think in that way, I'm encouraging.
Gotcha. And so if there was someone in there that was afraid, I think I have a big mouth, but one of the notes that I always got, I am not a studio singer. I don't like it. I love live. But I understand it has to be done. Yes. And I definitely could do better, even on the projects that I have some horror stories actually, but, I wasn't going to cough up that money. Well, I didn't have the money to cough it up again. So I had to release, and it wasn't necessarily what I would have wanted to do, especially the second one. However, what would you do if someone's in the studio and they were just fearful of whatever, like this isn't going to be a success, like all those, mental blocks that you might tell yourself, even though you're in the studio and you've done more than most, because there's a lot of people I know who sing who never made it to a studio, right?
Right.
So what would you tell someone that, might be listening now, is even afraid to come and try that step?
First of all, let me dither your sentiments. Live singing is much easier than studio singing because the mic will pick up everything in you. Every pitch miss, everything is there. So most people going with the mindset, I'm afraid because I don't want to sound bad. So what I would say to you is, listen, embrace it and get better from it. There's one scripture that says, let the weak say I'm what? Am strong. Now there's power in that I am piece, because the reason why you're stating something that you're physically not is so that it becomes a part of you. So let the weak say I am strong. So although I make mistakes, you say to yourself, although I'm making mistakes at this moment, I am a singer. I am an artist. And it gives you that encouragement. And then I work with people like, listen, if you're not hitting a certain note, I'll say, listen, let's not record right now. Let's work on the part that's giving you the problem. You can still hear the music. You still have the headphones on. You can still hear yourself to the mic, but repetition and practice. And what I've done in those situations is, while that repetition part is going on, I'm not charging them a cent, because it's all about artist development as well. I don't want an artist to just come in and record in my studio and then here's the feed. No, I want you to be developed as well. I want you to leave out better because you came to us. So giving them an hour of just repetition and going over and over it and then saying, are you ready to record now? And hearing that yes and getting a satisfied product is so rewarding. So giving them that space to overcome that fear by repetition and becoming that I am strong piece is pertinent to overcoming that fear.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's good. And that's very nice of you, because there's a lot of people who don't have that mentality either. They just all about the money and just focusing on that and don't really care about the individual. And I feel like you get the dividends are so much better when you are willing to help someone through the process, as opposed to just focusing on just the payment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that you think people might be encouraged, or that can help, shift a negative mental health state in this type of work that you do?
Yeah. I would tell anybody that's interested in being an artist or coming into the realm of recording is have confidence. Confidence is key. And I know that's been said, but then there's a thing of how to have confidence. I mirror how to have confidence in the same vein as I do how to have faith. We've heard over the years, have faith in God, have faith in yourself. But then what exactly is that? And the best way that I can put that so that it comes across easily and smoothly is to look at it as though it's a car. Look at confidence and faith as though it's a car. If I'm looking to go to the store, right, and I get in the car and I start the car and just sit there where I've just operated the car. Some people you just activated the car. My apologies. Some people just activate their confidence by saying, I'm going to do, or they activate their faith by saying, I have faith. Well, that's just a starting point, right? You just spoken something, right? You just activated it, but you have not operated it. In order for me to operate in the confidence and operate in the faith, I got to put the car in drive and then put my foot on the accelerator and use my mirrors and steering wheels to get to my destination. So what I would say to you is that have confidence in yourself, but know how to do it. Activate your confidence by, first of all, knowing it's in you to do, and then operate it by taking the necessary steps to be better. You're not going to start out on top. So look at tutorials, talk to other people. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because in those mistakes are lessons learned. And then you will find yourself shifting from just activating your confidence or activating your faith into the actual realm of operating in those veins. And so I would leave that word of encouragement with anybody looking to get into this business.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Now, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, even if they wanted to record at the studio or if they wanted you to sing, what social media or what plays, how can they get in touch with you?
You can reach me on Facebook at Maurice Harmon. You can put in Maurice Harmon and you'll see my little logo up there, ShadeStar Enterprise. You can also reach me on Instagram at ShadeStar Enterprise LLC. You can reach me via email at shadestarnation@gmail.com. Again, that's shadestarnation@gmail.com. And if all else fails, please feel free to give me a call at 443-397-0995. you can say, hey, Reese. You don't have to say doctor. You can say, hey, Reese, I'm interested in recording, I'm interested in working with you, and we'll be more than glad to oblige you.
Awesome. And even though I was copying down, I want to make sure I have the correct information. So as soon as we finish this, if you could just text that to me so that I can add it to the information,
Absolutely.
the notes. I appreciate it. Is there any closing remarks that you wanted to share?
No, I just want to just thank you for giving me this platform. I don't count it as robbery to be here. I'm just grateful that you asked me to do this, and as soon as you did it, I leaped. So thank you.
You did.
Great work.
You definitely did. I appreciate it. I always learn something new. I didn't think I was going to do this. Is our third season of Just Simply podcast. Before that, I did like YouTube lives and for I think it was probably 2 or 3 years, and it's a lot that goes into it. But mine, as you know, is called LLG Random But Real. Like I tell people, I was like, I don't edit. Like that's not my gift. Eventually, maybe I'll get to that point, honestly. But that's the time, etc., that goes along with it.
Right.
But I always learn something from these, something that I didn't know. Most of the time, I only talk to people that I know personally. Every now and then, somebody else will refer someone, but I think I have like between 3 and 4, maybe. I think more that I'm going to record this season.
Okay.
And then we'll see what God does next year. Sometimes people don't want to be transparent about the stuff that they do, but like I said, mental health affects every aspect of your lives. One of my Stigma Breaker Collective sisters, Danya, always says that, and I've adopted it. And then she's right. If you're not okay mentally, then it's hard to be okay in other areas.
Absolutely.
So I definitely appreciate you coming on. And for those who want to follow me or contact me, you can follow me on my website, Lisa L. Gilliam, and that's with the M then, .com, or you can find me on TikTok, Facebook, Lisa L. Gilliam, but TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and at One Singing Lady, the number 1. So I hope that you'll connect, leave a message. Definitely go support my bro. Go to his studio, record some stuff. If I decide to ever record again, then I know where to go, because I've been definitely taking a break. But I will see you around hopefully soon and get to hear you again soon as well. Thank you so much for being on LLG's Random But Real.
Thank you.
And we will talk soon. All right. One Singing Lady out. Have a good one, everybody.
All right. Take care.